Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, fire crews work to contain a blaze in Victoria County, the damage and what we know so far. Plus, years of planning are finally paying off for Victoria County residents, the long-awaited facility now taking shape. And the House takes action on a shutdown affecting thousands of federal workers, the bipartisan move, and what happens next.
Well, we had some mild weather today and a little sunshine, not bad. Felt kind of like springtime. Tomorrow, however, it's going to be a little cooler, a little drier. We'll be talking about your weather coming up in just a moment.
Plus, a Victoria County official gets tapped for a statewide leadership position. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Shawna Currie. The Victoria County Fire Marshal's office is investigating a fire that destroyed a building in Telfiner today. The old schoolhouse sits between South and 3rd Streets in Telfiner. The building was over 100 years old, and some residents called it a landmark. A mobile home behind the building also burned in the fire.
Oh, it's sad that it burned down. It's like a piece of history been burned away from this town. You know, that was an important establishment here in Telfiner, and to have it burned down is really sad.
They'll say the fire started from the right side of the building before it fully consumed the building. The Victoria County Fire Marshal's office says the cause of the fire is unknown and it remains an active investigation. And wind was something that the firefighters had to contend with today in that fire. Let's go to Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez for a first look at our forecast. And Mac, besides that wind being gusty at times, it really was almost a spring-like day.
Yeah, yes, it really was a spring-like day. And of course, the wind is always the major factor in fires. I mean, the difference between a fire and a fire with a 30-mile-an-hour wind is a complete ordinance difference. We're at 75 degrees right now, okay? Get a load of what our high today was, 78. That's springtime right there. And not unfortunately, by tomorrow, however, the north wind is kicking in and it is going to be a little cooler for the rest of the week, but it's going to be very pleasant weather and very cool weather, but not anything that's cold or bitter, and certainly no ice in the next 7 days. So we'll be talking more about your forecast coming up a little bit later on. Shawna?
Victoria County Judge Ben Zeller not only oversees the affairs in the county, but now he has a say in what goes on at the state level. Zeller has been appointed to the role of legislative chair for the County Judges and Commissioners of Texas. This role gives Zeller the ability to shape policies and preserve and promote local decision-making policies, just to name a few of the duties. Zeller says this position will be able to give Victoria County a stronger voice in Austin.
Appreciate the chance to serve, and having a loud voice like this benefits our community and benefits all the residents of Victoria County and counties across the state.
Zeller previously served as the chair of the Legislative Committee of the County Judges and Commissioners of Texas in 2024. And a long-awaited facility is getting closer to becoming a reality in Victoria County. The Behavioral Health and Mental Hospital has been in the planning process for a few years now. The county hired Spa Glass Construction, which will manage the construction of the facility and bring in subcontractors to begin the building process. Jody Beckham, executive president of Spa Glass, says his company has been working on this project for a while and is now ready for the next step.
We originally went under contract with the county in December of 2024, have worked this whole last year to build up our design. Our design now is complete, and we are sending the design documents out to the subcontractors to see if we can get qualified bids.
Beckham says the current plan is to begin construction in March of this year and to have the facility completed in late 2027. Beckham says Spa Glass will use all local subcontractors. The Victoria County Behavioral Health and Mental Hospital will be located on Big Bend Drive near the Victoria Regional Airport. If you see news happening, give our newsroom a call at 361-576-0026 or send us an email to staff@crossroadstoday.com. After hours of debate and delays, the partial government shutdown is over. ABC's Christian Cordero has the details as lawmakers pass an amended version of a funding bill that separates funding for DHS from the main bill.
On the fourth day of the partial government shutdown impacting thousands of federal workers, today the House voted to pass a bipartisan deal to fully reopen it.
Without objection, the motion is adopted.
Following the nationwide protests against ICE tactics in Minneapolis, the amended bill separates the Department of Homeland Security's fiscal year funding from other programs and agencies. Congress instead extended DHS funding for 2 weeks as it negotiates reforms to ICE, which would ultimately need the president's signature to go into effect.
We're willing, obviously, to have this dialogue and to talk and to listen, but we are not going to concede in enforcing our nation's immigration laws and delivering on the mandate the president was given by nearly 80 million Americans.
Some Democratic lawmakers are demanding Congress abolish ICE, while others call for reforms to DHS policy.
Taking off the masks, putting the badges on, requiring the body cameras, real accountability for the egregious abuses we have seen.
DHS Secretary Noem says every agent in Minnesota will be issued a body-worn camera effective immediately. It's unclear what other changes Republicans would support, but abolishing ICE is not among them. Some appear willing to negotiate certain reforms in exchange for ending sanctuary cities.
I would be open to some reforms, but again, we want some too. So it depends on what they're willing to provide.
This 4-day government shutdown follows the longest in U.S. history, 43 days in the fall when Democrats unsuccessfully fought to extend health care subsidies. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
In Texas, Christian Menifee won a special runoff for Texas's 18th congressional district seat, but must run again in the March 2026 Democratic primary. He faces Amanda Edwards and Representative Al Green following the state's redistricting. The district's late vacancy election and new Republican-drawn maps have confused voters and raised concerns about disenfranchisement in this heavily Democratic Houston area. Overlapping elections, shifting district lines, and mail-in ballot timing have demoralized voters, complicating efforts to maintain engagement in the race. To get more news, weather, and sports headlines, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com. And remember, you can see our news on our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5, millions of Americans are walking around with a hidden health risk they don't even know about. We'll take a look at the silent danger ahead. Plus, new numbers show a concerning trend with flu activity across the country. What you need to know.
The gowns, the venues, the DJs. It's a celebration like no other, but it's also a financial puzzle for families across our community.
Like, I want to do all of that. I want to have the dress, I want to have the crown, I want to have the party. Yeah.
Quinceañeras, tradition meets economics. 25 News Now morning anchor Carolina Astrain explores how culture, celebration, and money come together in one of life's biggest milestones. Thursday at 10 p.m.
A common treatment for menopause symptoms is getting harder to find. Estrogen patches provide hormone replacement therapy. Manufacturing issues, brand discontinuations, and rising demand are causing shortages of them. The FDA also removed a warning label on the product last fall, leading to an increase in prescriptions. Some women are driving miles to find the patches in stock. Others are shelling out hundreds of dollars a month to switch to brands their insurance will not cover. With the start of American Heart Month, it's important to know about the connection that cholesterol has to the heart. While necessary for health, excess levels can restrict blood flow to the heart and can cause chest pain, heart attacks, or strokes. Mandy Gaither explains why doctors say many patients may not know about their cholesterol options.
In the U.S., nearly 25 million adults aged 20 or older have total cholesterol levels that are considered high, and about 86 million in that age group have levels classified as borderline high. But since it doesn't often come with symptoms, you can only know your numbers by getting tested.
It's very common that patients don't know their cholesterol levels.
Dr. Lakshmi Mehta with the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center says it's critical to know your cholesterol level in order to manage it and lower risk of cardiovascular disease while adopting a heart-healthy diet low in saturated fats. Exercising, losing weight, and quitting smoking can all help. Sometimes it's not enough and medication is needed. However, slightly more than half of U.S. adults who could benefit from cholesterol medicine are actually taking it.
High levels of the cholesterol, especially the LDL cholesterol, is associated with developing plaque or blockages in your heart arteries or in your neck arteries, which can result in strokes.
Mehta says that while most patients know that statin medications are the cornerstone treatment to lower cholesterol, not everyone can take them. And she says many don't know there are other options in both pill and injectable forms for those who are statin intolerant or need an extra line of defense.
It's not just lowering the LDL number that's important. It goes beyond that. It's also that medications can stabilize plaque and slow the progression.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Dr. Mehta says it's important to have an open mind when it comes to lowering cholesterol levels. And if lifestyle changes and first-line therapies don't work, she says to talk to your doctor about all of the options rather than not taking any medication at all. Flu activity ticked back up slightly in the U.S. thanks to a very small increase in infections caused by influenza B. The virus is distinct from the new subclade K strain that's been the biggest strain so far this flu season. Even if you've had the flu once this season, it is still possible to get it again if you catch a different strain. The good news is this year's flu vaccine protects against 2 A strains and 1 B strain, so the shots should offer some protection against severe illness and hospitalization. A university in Southwest Florida is reporting a measles outbreak. Health officials say so far at least 11 cases of the virus are confirmed at Ave Maria University. The university says Florida Department of Health doctors, nurses, and a contact tracing team are on campus. Students without immunity are being told to isolate in their dorm rooms for 21 days. At this time, the outbreak appears to be contained to the university. Well, there's more questions than answers in the disappearance of Savannah Guthrie's mother. Police believe 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was abducted from her home near Tucson, Arizona over the weekend. And so far, investigators have been vague about why they do not believe Guthrie left her home voluntarily. Police said they do not believe Guthrie is being held for ransom or that the crime was a robbery gone wrong. Police are asking for help locating Guthrie, pointing out that she is without medication that she needs to live. Their story made global headlines. 13 siblings rescued from extreme abuse and neglect, all at the hands of their own parents. And now for the first time, we're hearing from 3 of the youngest siblings. Tony Cabrera talks with ABC News' Diane Sawyer about her exclusive sit-down.
Is this the first time they've spoken publicly?
It is the first time they've spoken publicly about this, and they came forward with such, first of all, vitality, wonder, excitement about the world that you would never know the suffering that they had lived.
I remember thinking, we're all gonna die. I remember Jordan saying, it's now or never. And she was right. She literally was right. She did it just in time. We were all going to be chained to our bed.
But being rescued from that house of horrors was not the end of their suffering.
As inconceivable as it was, that first home and the level of abuse they had from their own parents, they go into yet another situation from which they have to escape.
I mean, something bad did happen the first night I was there. Didn't know very much, but I did know that that was didn't feel right.
What happens in the foster home, a combination of psychological abuse and also things that they really want everyone to understand about kids going into homes like these and not having a voice, not even having experience of what good parenting is.
To me, it feels like, why do people get to have a family and we don't? And like, we have each other, and that's the world, you know? But we still want a mom.
Despite a childhood full of endless terror, the Turpin siblings exude endless optimism.
It's not just a story of, as I said, not just horror, but hope, and not just suffering, but real bravery and real rededication to life.
Tony Cabrera, ABC News.
You can watch The Turpins, a new house of horror, a Diane Sawyer special that's tonight at 9 o'clock right here on KAVU 25. You can also stream it tomorrow on Disney and Hulu.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It was a nice kind of spring-like day. Look at that, temperature is 75 right about now. Of course, the winds were kind of the problem. I mean, they were blowing probably 37 miles an hour was the peak wind that we had, so it was a little gusty out there. But our high today certainly reminded us of springtime. Got up to 78 this afternoon, and 52 was our morning low temperature. But tomorrow, all this is going to change as the north wind kicks back in, and that's going to make it feel a little cooler, a little drier for the next few days. We'll be talking about that and taking a look at your weekend as well, coming up in a moment. Well, good afternoon, everybody. We actually had a few little showers around the area. Most of them missed Victoria, as you can see right about there. They came up through Calhoun County, Matagorda County, and moving on up through Bay City. Little light activity. We still have a chance of getting one of those, two of those coming through overnight as the frontal system comes through. But while we were in very spring-like weather today, it's going to be back to more January-like weather. This frontal system will be passing through our area probably after midnight tonight, and then we'll pick up a gusty north wind. That north wind will give us some cooler weather, drier weather, lots of sun, and fortunately, no ice to deal with. This is actually connected to the next big storm that's gathering right about here. This is going to be kind of a snowstorm for the southern Appalachians, and then moving on up to the eastern seaboard. The west coast continues on the very quiet side, and that's really been not good because the lack of snowpack is going to affect all of the western states and you and me as well. I say that because, you've got to consider the agriculture that comes out of California is your fruits and nuts and vegetables. They get no river water, no rainwater, then we're in trouble. So here is Future Tracker, and we expect that line to come in this evening. You can see how a sprinkle or two is possible through the area as that passes through, but by sunrise it's all going to be gone. We're going to pick up that north wind. It's going to be drier, sunny, and a little cooler, not too bad. Overnights will probably be the ones that you'll feel most. Tonight we'll get down to about 51, but then on Thursday we'll be down into the 30s, and that's really kind of the coldest of the next few days. And then we'll be in the 40s and we'll get up into the 50s. Next week seems a little on the mild side as well. I don't see any ice and snow coming in our direction, other than some moisture. Now, as I mentioned, the rain that we had here is really the tail end of the next big storm. You can see how, looking at snow and rain throughout the southeastern states, it's going to be a problem for them. And the winter weather really just continues hammering much of the eastern states. You can see that by Thursday, Friday, they got another big snowstorm passing through. We are on the dry side of everything as we pick up that northwest wind, but as it gets to the weekend, things are going to sort of change around a little bit. We're going to get a blast of southwesterly flow. It's coming off the Pacific, and all of a sudden we start picking up a chance for a little bit of rain in Texas. There you see it coming through. That would be Tuesday and Wednesday. But remember, this is warm stuff coming up from the southwest. It is not anything that would look like ice or snow or winter or anything like that. Temperature is, let me show you tomorrow. That's what time? That's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see how we'll be in the 60s. We'll be beating, well, no, it looks like Miami's going to be beating us, and so is, no, Miami is beating us. But you can see the bitter cold temperatures that continue in the single digits throughout the Midwest. So we are going to be feeling kind of spring-like weather, as a matter of fact. Yeah, tomorrow, nice sunny day, a little bit on the cool side. Of course, that north wind, well, you'll feel it. We're looking for a low of about 55 in Port Lavaca and getting up to 66. That's about 10 degrees cooler than it was today. 55 or 53 in Cuero and getting up to 68 tomorrow, but abundant sunshine. And after today's rain, or tonight's rain, we're on the dry side all the way through Saturday, and we're hoping that Monday, Tuesday, we pick up a little bit of moisture. That is your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Shawna, back to you.
Straight ahead, a $58 billion energy deal could impact several Crossroads counties. What we know coming up. Stocks close on a low note today. The Dow falling over 166 points. The S&P 500 falling over 58 points, followed by the NASDAQ also losing almost 337 points. Oil prices, however, are up $1.07. A barrel of oil now sits at $63.21. Devon Energy and Coterra Energy are merging in a nearly $58 billion all-stock deal, creating one of the biggest shale producers in the U.S. The new company will mainly focus on the Delaware Basin in West Texas, but both already operate in South Texas, including parts of the Eagle Ford. For DeWitt and Karnes counties, analysts expect things to stay steady for now, with no layoffs or drilling cuts announced. The merger aims for efficiency and long-term growth, so Eagle Ford assets are likely to stay in the mix. The deal should wrap up in the second quarter of next year, pending approvals. While home buyers seem to have an advantage in the housing market these days, renting may be the smarter move. A new study from LendingTree found home buyers in the U.S. are paying nearly 37% more than renters each month. That difference is greater in some cities like San Francisco, California, Bridgeport, Connecticut, and New York City, where mortgages can run between $3,200 to $4,000 plus each month. Renting in those cities is close to $1,600 cheaper per month. Disney has announced who will take over for Bob Iger as CEO. The leadership role will go to Josh D'Amaro. He's the current chair of the company's Parks division. It could be welcome news for investors who have watched Disney stock struggle for years. The company is involved in several highly competitive spaces like streaming TV and movies. Its theme park division, though, is seen by many as Disney's rock. It can typically be counted on to deliver profits when other divisions struggle. The Paris prosecutor's office says it raided the French headquarters of the social media platform X. It says it's widening its investigation into alleged algorithm abuse to include X's AI chatbot Grok, after claims Grok produced sexualized deep fakes. The Paris prosecutor says X-chairman Elon Musk is among those summoned to hearings in April. X says it removes illegal content, but a source with knowledge of the matter has questioned Musk's commitment to Grok guardrails. And you could see the price of your favorite snacks dip by about 15%. PepsiCo, which makes brands like Doritos, Lay's, and Cheetos, says it is slashing prices in response to customer complaints about cost. PepsiCo's U.S. CEO said they recognize customers are feeling the financial strain, and the price cuts are meant to ease that pressure. Shoppers should start seeing lower prices this week. The products will get new labels highlighting the reduced prices. PepsiCo says retailers still set final shelf prices, and savings may vary by store. Still ahead, a special moment on the Mississippi Gulf Coast today involving one of America's most majestic birds. We'll take a look. A rescued bald eagle is getting a second chance at freedom on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. The bald eagle named Bill was released in Pass Christian on Monday and immediately went soaring over the treetops. Bill was found sick in the wild and taken to Woodside Wildlife Rescue. After being nursed back to health, he is now flying again, as we can see. Woodside Wildlife specializes in caring for injured and orphaned wildlife with the goal of returning animals to their natural habitats whenever possible. And of course, the bald eagle, we definitely want to make sure we get those rehabbed and back out in the wild safely. But,
Yes.
You know, a nice day to be outside and fly around today.
Well, considering the winter that we've been through, you know, I mean, we were ready for
It's
a
so
little
long and
spring.
horrible.
I know, a whole week. We're looking for spring-like weather around here. So yeah, it was a beautiful day. It got up to 78 this afternoon. Now tomorrow's not going to be quite as warm, but it's still a good day. The north wind kicks in tonight. It'll be clear, dry, and a little cooler right on through the weekend. Temperatures staying in the 60s and overnight lows getting back down to where you need is kind of a sweater or a jacket at night. Otherwise, daytimes will be very comfortable in the upper 60s all the way through Saturday. Hopefully we'll get some sort of rain coming in early next week.
All right, we definitely need the rain, but in the meantime, we'll take this kind of sunny, you know, nice weather compared to other parts of the country.
You could smell springtime out there today.
Yeah, a little cloudy, but I'll take it. So, all right, well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here in 30 minutes for 25 News Now at 6.